In today's video, I'm taking over Derby County for the next 10 seasons with the goal of making them a European powerhouse. I mean, they've just been promoted to the Championship automatically, so I think the timing's perfect. And along the way, guys, we are going to have all 4 of these objectives to complete the 2 Premier League titles, the 3 UCLs, the 10 trophies overall, and having an average starting team rating of 89. And with the transfer and takeover wheel at the ready to make my life 10 times harder each and every season, this isn't going to be easy. And this is what I mean, guys, is this is the starting team we've loaded into a Derby County, and for a championship side, we're in a bit of trouble already. I mean, for starters, guys, it's a very aging team. Look how many players in this squad overall are 30 years old or above. There's loads of them. This, however, doesn't mean we've got no players to build this team around. We have got Louis Sibley, who's a 21-year-old attacking midfielder who looks pretty promising. There's 21-year-old CDM Liam Thomas, who looks pretty decent too. And how could we forget Aaron Cashin, who, as far as I'm aware, is still at Derby County. I know that a couple of clubs have been after him, but as we're recording, he is still at the club. We do also have 10 mil to spend in Season 1. That is, for a championship side, a very comfy amount of money to spend at the very least. But it is going to take a long time before we make Derby County a European powerhouse, ladies and gents. Maybe even longer than 10 years. And if I'm being honest, guys, I'm having real difficulty figuring out what formation and what tactics to run with this Derby County team, so I'm going to switch things up a bit. I'm first going to spin the transfer wheel to figure out how many transfers we're allowed in Season 1, because I feel like our toughest challenge this year is actually going to survive the championship. But if we are to survive the championship, I need to know how many transfers I've got. 2 transfers in Season 1, that I can work with. I mean, it's much easier now putting my spin on this team, knowing how many transfers I'm allowed to make this year. But before I do any of that, there is one thing I am going to do. I'm going to try and sell all 5 of these players, ladies and gents. I mean, they've got 2 things in common anyway. 1, they're all in the 30s, and 2, all of their stats are going down, meaning right now they're better off being sold. But unfortunately, that backfired on me spectacularly. I was only able to sell Horuhane for 810 grand and send Rooney out on loan. The rest of them just refused to be sold. I mean, James Collins, I give up trying to sell. No matter how many clubs I accept their offers from, he just won't go. And Gale, Forsyth and Vaghorn just haven't had any interest anyway. But I don't want any of these players at the club anyway, so I'm just going to release them to get rid. And now that that's taken care of, with tournament money as well, we've got 13 mil in total to spend in Season 1, and if we can't survive with that kind of money, I don't deserve to be in charge of Derby County anyway. But as you can see, guys, the team is an absolute mess, and before we even think about making any signings, we've got to sort this problem out first. And I think the first step is changing the formation to the 4-2-3-1 narrow. Everybody in this formation will be playing in their natural positions. And for Season 1, at least, we're going to be on the counter-attack, ladies and gents. I don't feel like we're going to win games by being the aggressor. We're going to have to be the counter-aggressor this time. And after really messing around with this team, this is our strongest starting 11. And quite frankly, guys, right now, we are going straight down to League 1 again. But that's where this 13 mil comes in, guys. If we spend this correctly, we stay up just by the skin of our teeth. So first things first, we need a better keeper than a 68 rated 27-year-old Joe Wildsmith. He's not going to do us any favours in the championship, is he? And we need a better centre-back than Nelson. I know he's the captain, but he's 30, he's 68 overall. He's not going to get any better. Henceforth, we need to replace him. So that's exactly what I did by spending 5 million on centre-back Mujade from Genk. Only 23 years old and already 73 rated. Him and Cashin at the back are going to do pretty damn well in the championship, I think. But not without a decent keeper behind them, guys, which is why I'm signing Diego Conde from CD Laganas, in his mid-20s himself and 73 rated. I know we've got weaknesses pretty much all around the pitch, but in this transfer window anyway, we are sorting out the biggest ones, and hopefully that will be enough to keep us in the championship. And with the signing of Diego Conde for 4 mil on the dot, that's our transfer window done. And this is now how the team looks going into Season 1. Now, I've already said that this team does have its weaknesses, but we've sorted out the biggest ones in the defence and goalie, and I do feel like that is enough to keep us up. But at the very least, guys, I want to see some improvement that'll set us up nicely for Season 2, because this season's about survival, next year's about building to promotion. And guys, this is a great start. As you can see from the starting attacking team, everybody's happy, and not only that, everybody looks like they've actually improved quite a bit. Most notably Diego Conde 76 rating, Majid 76, Cashin 74, Osborne 72. Now that's very decent. The stats on the other hand don't look so good. I mean, our top goal scorer was Tom Barkhuizen with 10 goals and 5 assists in 45 games. I mean, the team itself is actually quite happy overall, so I do think we've managed to survive. However, those stats don't look like we have, do they? Well, we've survived, guys. We are 15th in the championship and a solid 10 points above the drop zone. We've still got a long journey to go before we become a European powerhouse. However, this is a good start for the Rams. And we actually had a decent FA Cup run, making it to round 4. But dropped a stinker in the Carabao Cup. So it looks like that transfer window was a success. Diego Conde and Majid helped us survive the championship. That's season number 1 under wraps officially. But now we start this team's next step, getting them ready for a promotion push. It's not going to be easy because these players right now haven't got it in them. However, if that transfer wheel's on our side for the next couple of years, it's definitely possible. But before we go any further, if you are enjoying this video right now, consider leaving it a big old thumbs up and smash that subscribe button if you're new. I mean, it is free after all, isn't it? Okay, ladies and gents, season 2, and we've got a lot of work to do, and we've got a lot of transfers to do. We have 3 overall. That is phenomenal. And we've got 17 mil to spend on those 3 transfers. This season is just getting better and better already. Now it's just a matter of figuring out where to put that money. I feel like goalkeeper-wise and defensively we're sound. It's literally just the midfield up. I mean, we definitely need a new striker because Connor Washington's actually retiring at the end of this season. And I think we need new wingers too because the ones we've currently got are all in their 30s, and that's not exactly what we want if we're trying to push for promotion. What we're ideally after, guys, are really good young attackers in their early 20s that we can try and build this team around for the next 5 years at the very least. And honestly, I don't think we're going to need all this 17 mil to be able to bring these players to the club. And I was absolutely right, guys. Take Jaden Adai, for example, an 18-year-old winger from Arsenal, 70 overall, showing great potential, and his market value is just over 3 million. There's also 19-year-old Alvaro, 6'4", 82 jumping on his stats and showing great potential. This guy's going to be an absolute monster in the championship. And for only 6.3 million combined, ladies and gents, we signed both of these players on 5-year deals, leaving us 8 mil for our third and final transfer. And believe me, guys, we got more than enough to sign this next player. I'm signing another Arsenal winger, Ernest Poku, 20 years old, 70 overall. He's got 5-star weak foot already as well. This guy's going to turn into a monster in the future. And just like that, for 3.5 mil, we signed yet another player on a 5-year deal to conclude our transfer window. And as daft as this may sound, guys, I reckon we've got a shot at the playoffs. I mean, the players we brought in, remember, are very young and got a lot of potential. They're definitely going to progress as this season progresses. I mean, there's some solid teams in the championship: Burnley, Leeds United, Luton Town. Fair enough, but don't write the Rams off just yet. I reckon we're going to be a dark horse. And this is what I mean, man. Look at the stats. Our front 3 know exactly where the back of that net is. And judging by the overalls of our highest rated players, I reckon we're knocking on promotion's door, man. It's only a matter of time if we haven't done it this year. But seeing the team on paper, there's one glaring weakness: that midfield duo just in front of the defense, man. If we haven't been promoted, it's definitely down to those pair. And guys, we were so close to the playoffs. We were 8th in the championship this year, only 2 points behind Burnley. But looking at the bigger picture, we've come a long way in the last 2 years. Last season, we were worried about surviving the championship, and now we're looking at promotion. And just look at this. We made it to round 5 of the FA Cup before just getting knocked out by the bottle jobs. But we once again had an absolute stinker in the Carabao Cup. But I do stand by what I said. Fournette and Thompson let us down this year. I mean, we only had 3 transfers and we had to sort our attack out. But next year, if we get at least 1, we're sorting the midfield out. And as I've already proven, we don't even need 17 million to sort it out. Give us 10 mil and I'll get us promoted in season 3. I mean, to be fair, that is if the transfer wheel is gonna play ball with this. Is that 2 transfers? I think it is. We can work with 2 transfers. We can also work with 18 mil in the budget as well. But it's like I said last year, give me 10 mil, I'll get us promoted, but give us 18 mil, I'll get us promoted as champions. And to make that happen, we need to replace Fournette and Thompson in that midfield, the weakest links in the starting 11. Once we sort this out, no team in the championship is going to be able to stop us. So I got right to work in replacing them by spending 5.5 million on CDM William Clem. He's already 72 overall at 21 years old, and at 6'3", this guy's an absolute powerhouse. And following him is Shea Charles from the Saints, only 21 himself, 71 overall and 6'2". Him and Clem are going to be an absolute brick wall in that midfield. And for just 3.6 million, not only did we sign him on a 5-year deal, that wraps up our third transfer window. And looking at the team right now, guys, I absolutely feel like we've done enough to get the Rams back into the Prem. And looking at the Championship, guys, going through all these teams, I actually feel like we stand a phenomenal chance of going up as champions. But to be quite honest, guys, I don't really care how we get promotion as long as we get promotion. This team right now is too good to stay in the Championship. And I was bang on the money. We are promoted to the Premier League, second in the Championship. I mean, we did it by the scrape of our teeth, and Watford were right on our tail. But like I've just said, I couldn't give a rat's backside how we get promoted as long as we get promoted, and that's exactly what we've done. Arsenal have also beaten the Bottle Jobs to win the FA Cup. This season just gets better and better. And we actually made it further in the Carabao Cup this time. We made it to round 2 before Brighton knocked us out. But guys, just look at the state of this team. I'm not surprised we've done as well as we have this year. There's only a couple of positions we need to focus on next season. We're good to go for the Prem. And as you can see from the stats, our attackers defo know where the back of that net is too. And I'm being deadly serious when I say this. I'm not worried about the Premier League at all next year. All 8 teams that I'm showing you right now, I absolutely believe we can beat them. But we've got to remember, we're no longer dealing with the transfer wheel. It's now time for the takeover wheel to have its turn trying to mess my life up at Derby County. And it's also time to start focusing on these 4 challenges. We've got 7 seasons now to complete all 4 off, and there's only one team that's actually done that in this takeover series, and that's Coventry City. And that means the question going forward right now, guys, are Derby County able to do what Coventry did, or are they going to fall flat on their faces just like the rest of the teams in this series? We're going to find out that question very soon, but for now we can celebrate the small victories, and that is for the first time in years, Derby County are officially back in the Prem. And we've got 70 mil to come with it as well. That promotion money really does come in clutch, doesn't it? And whilst the team for the most part is, in my opinion, really damn decent, there are 3 things that we do need to sort out. And 2 of those things are sorting out our fullbacks. I mean, Wilson and Osborne are 2 of the weakest links in the team, and they're not even growing that well anymore now. And it pains me to say it, but Louis Sibley needs to be replaced as well. I mean, he's in his mid-20s, only 73 rated. He stopped growing quite well. His development plan says his potential's been reached, so therefore we need someone better. But it's alright having all this money and all the visions for what we could do with this money. It doesn't mean a damn thing until we spun that takeover wheel, does it? So without further ado, let's spin it for the first time in the Prem to see what it's got in store for us. Wheel's choice. Only sign players outside the top 5 leagues: Premier League, Liga 1, Serie A, Bundesliga and La Liga. You know what? In the grand scheme of things, that's not that bad. I mean, it's a shame we can't spend it on whoever we want, but we've got 70 mil to spend, ladies and gents. That's the good side of this. And to be fair, there's some good players outside the top 5 leagues, like Argentinian fullback from Feyenoord, Santiago Simon, in his mid-20s and 78 overall already. I mean, this guy's going to be a welcome addition to the team. There's also RB Salzburg's Albert Grombeek. I mean, 25 years old, 81 overall. We need a decent attacking midfielder, and he fits the bill. And for the total amount of 47 mil on the dot, both of these players now play for Derby County. But unfortunately, our search for a left back didn't go so well, as the best one I could find was Patrick Martens. I mean, he is 75 overall and he's in his mid-20s, but the fact he's that cheap doesn't fill me with hope that he can turn into a world-class fullback. But nevertheless, for only 7 mil, we have just signed him up on a 5-year deal to wrap up Season 4's transfer window. And looking at the team now, ladies and gents, I think we're in for a very successful first year in the Prem. We're not going to be doing anything out of the ordinary or anything spectacular, but we're defo going to be nowhere near the relegation zone. Especially with the signings we've made this year, guys. I'm actually really intrigued to see how Albert Grombeek is going to get on in the Premier League. A little bit of added creativity up top could really work wonders for us. And it looks like it did, as we very comfortably survived the Premier League. I mean, look who's above us: Chelsea, United and the Ball Jobs. We're in decent company. And we made the FA Cup final. Granted, we lost to Liverpool, but the fact we made the FA Cup final already is a great sign. We've still only made it to round 3 of the Carabao Cup though, losing to Cheltenham Town of all teams. Are you joking? But looking at the bigger picture, that team morale is good, and not only that, shows the improvement, man. Look how good we've become in only 4 years. And the stats speak for themselves. Alvaro were 22 and 11, 20 and 2 for Parku, 12 and 14 for Adai. Bear in mind, this is our first year in the Prem. Those stats are really good. But as we progress with Derby County, some players in this team are revealing that they are the weaknesses, like Charles, like Clem, Mojade, Cashin, and also Martens now. And we'll defo have a decent chunk of money to work with next year to be able to replace a couple of these players. It's just whether that takeover wheel's gonna let us. Well, there's only one way to find out, guys. Let's spin it to see what we've got in store for Season 5. Overpaying isn't good. Release clause signings only. Okay, in the grand scheme of things, that's actually not that bad. I mean, we've only got 58 mil to spend, so we won't be that busy in this transfer window, especially if we can only activate release clauses, but we can at least improve the team still. I will obviously be looking for CDMs, a centre-back, or a left-back, but with release clause signings, we'll probably only get one in anyway. Okay, guys, I found our one and only signing of Season 5, Stefan Bajcetic. He's 22, 80 overall, and his release clause is 41.6 million. I've searched for left-backs, I've searched for centre-backs, but no player I have found is as good as Stefan Bajcetic for that amount of money, so we are going to go ahead and sign him for 41.5 million. And just like that, we signed him up on a 5-year deal to wrap up Season 5's transfer window. Now it's time to see if he's going to make a difference for us. Bear in mind, last year we finished 13th, so maybe with him we could get a top 10 finish. And that's exactly what we've got, guys. We're 7th in the Premier League, never mind a top 10 finish actually. We're almost inside the top 6. And if I'm not mistaken, guys, 7th in the league gets you Europa Conference League football. Right now, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm 50-50 that we've got European football for Season 6. But this time in the FA Cup, we meet the semi-finals before getting knocked out by Aston Villa. And we're still absolutely rubbish in the Carabao Cup. But as you can see, guys, the team is coming on leaps and bounds, and Bajcetic was definitely a good signing, even if we did spend 20 odd million over his market value in the end. But our attackers still know how to bang goals in for fun, and I've just realised we've got 2 right wingers. I need to sort that out as soon as possible. But one other thing we need to sort out are these 4 challenges. Whilst we're progressing as a team with Derby County, we're still no closer to hitting and completing any of these 4. So no matter what that wheel throws at this team, next year we need to start trying to tick some of those challenges off the box, because quite frankly, the rate we're going, we're not going to complete any of them. Well, here we are, guys. It's the new season with the Rams. What are we doing this time? Caught cheating, you know the drill. Transfer ban. Oh, bloody brilliant. And what makes that worse, we've got 81 mil to spend, but we can't do a damn thing with it in the transfer window. I mean, we still need better defenders. We could do with a better CDM, maybe a better goalkeeper at this point as well, to make sure that Derby County progress. But as the wheels just said, we've got a transfer ban, so the only thing we can realistically do is go to the end of the season and hope for the best. Unfortunately though, guys, there's only so much you can do when the wheel well and truly shafts you. This time we finish 8th in the league, 1 place below where we finished last year. To be fair though, guys, we can't really blame them. We can't move forward with the Rams unless we are improving them each and every year. We've even taken a hit in the FA Cup this time, as we only made it to round 4. But we made the Carabao Cup final and once again lost the final to freaking Arsenal. So that's the FA Cup final, and Carabao Cup final we've lost now. I'm gutted, man. I can't help but feel like if this year we'd have been able to make a couple of improvements to the team, we'd have had at least 1 trophy in our cabinet. I mean, it's not like the stats are bad by any stretch of the imagination. Our front 3 definitely know how to bag goals in for fun. We could have done so much with that 63 mil this year, man. Unfortunately, the wheel had other ideas. I'm just hoping next year it actually lands on something half decent, because if we land on a dud once again, we aren't going to get anywhere with Derby County anytime soon. But in fairness, guys, there's more good things on the wheel than there is bad. Thankfully, we've landed on a good one. +3. All your starting 11 players get a +3 in their rating. Oh my god, there's no transfer ban either this year. That's fantastic. So not only does that mean there's literally no more weakness in the starting 11, but we've now got 125 mil to spend on the team at our free will. Guys, there's so much we can do with that money. However, I'm going to leave the starting 11 alone, guys, because there is another place we need to focus our attention on. And that's the bench, guys, because as you can see, it's being very neglected. We haven't even got a second choice keeper, for goodness sake. I mean, as well as that, we needed backup striker, backup winger, backup centre-back. We got a lot of work to do with that 120-odd million. So let's start front to back this time with Jean-Paul Diop from FC Lorient. He's 6'1", early 20s, 79 rated. He'll do a job from the bench. And following game is Matteo Cancellieri from Lazio. He's in his mid-20s, a very good player, and his contract's running out, and we all know what that means. It means we just got a bargain as for the combined total of 49.7 million. We signed both of these players on 4-year contracts. Well, I'm not quite done yet, as I've just spent another 27.5 million to sign Nathan Collins on another 4-year contract. I mean, he's 28, 82 overall at 6'4". He's definitely going to be a welcome addition to the team. And finally, I'm signing Gabriel Fuchs from Fulham. Only 21, 81 overall. If anything happens to our keeper in goal, this guy can definitely fill in and then some. And just like that, for a final 26.3 million, we've signed him on a 3-year deal concluding this season's transfer window. And that bench now looks so much more healthy, guys. I'm not saying this is going to be the difference maker, but with more depth, you can't really go wrong. To be fair though, guys, this team with that +3 upgrade to it looks absolutely phenomenal. Never mind Conference League football, I want Champions League football next year now. But guys, that's not going to happen because we finished 5th in the Premier League. I don't understand how we haven't got UCL football yet. Leicester have, but we haven't. Let that sink in. We also still can't win the FA Cup. And we've made another Carabao Cup final and lost that as well. We've turned Derby County into the bottle jobs, for God's sake. We can't even beat Salernitana in the Europa Conference League, man. No wonder we're not in the UCL. We can't even beat these guys. But looking at the team, that's a crazy thing to say when this squad is literally world class. And we can't blame our attackers, ladies and gents, because as you can clearly see, they definitely are doing their job. I feel like it's just the defence not doing theirs. But because there's only 3 years left of this takeover now, and we're not playing UCL football next year, we can't win 3 Champions Leagues. So that's one challenge failed already. However, guys, if we do get lucky with that takeover wheel, there is a small chance we can complete all 3 of the remaining challenges, but we do have to be incredibly lucky. So let's go ahead and find out if we're lucky or whether we... Oh dear, switch up. Spin the formation wheel or whatever it lands on, you must use for the remainder of the video, and you can't make any signings. This is literally the worst one we could get. Even the bankrupt one isn't this bad. I feel like no matter what we land on here, we are absolutely screwed. Okay, maybe not the 4-3-3 defensive variation. There is maybe a way we can make this work. Actually, we can defo make this work. We've just altered it a little bit to fit Grombake into it, but we've got 2 CDMs, an attacking midfielder. I mean, it's basically a deeper 4-3-3 attacking variation. Honestly, how we've come out of that unscathed is genuinely beyond me, but I'm not complaining. We've been insanely lucky with that. I mean, we do have £270 million that we can't spend this year. However, in the grand scheme of things, I'd say this has been a massive dub. I mean, it would be if these guys can qualify for the Champions League in this formation. Could you actually imagine if we pulled that off? That would be amazing. But guys, it's the same old, same old. We're 7th in the Premier League this time. I don't know what more we got to do, man. Derby County, you're legitimately cursed. I mean, we got lucky with the wheel, changing our formation and managing to fit our team into it, and we still can't do it with how good our team is. And we still can't win the FA Cup as we've only made it to round 5. And we've had a shocker in the Carabao Cup. Arsenal once again knocking us out. And this just shows how unlucky we are, man. We got drew up against PSG in the Europa League round of 16 and we only just lost to them, man. How the hell aren't we in the UCL when we're only just losing to teams like that? I'll maintain what I said, guys. It is literally this defence, primarily Cashin and Martens, really letting us down. I mean, it's defo not our front 3, as you can see. I mean, when you total up their goal contributions between them, they got 92 overall. That's insane. I feel like unless the takeover wheel's on our side next year, we are absolutely screwed, man. We may actually have to face the idea of winning absolutely nothing in this entire takeover at this rate. But the ratio of good to bad on this wheel is indeed on our side. Oh my god, we landed on the best one, game changer. Make a player of your choice, 99 overall, but make no signings. You know what? Scrap the signings. We get a 99 overall player now. And to be honest, guys, looking at the starting team, I think it's fairly obvious who I'm going to choose. It was always going to be Cashin, wasn't it? Not only is he one of Derby County's best players in real life, but we sorely needed better defenders, and we're not going to get a better one than a 99 rated one. I mean, it sucks that we can't spend this 286 million, but honestly, that 286 million wouldn't get us a 99 rated player anyway. I'm just hoping that Cashin makes the difference, man, because quite frankly, 8 years without the Champions League, that's absolutely disgraceful. That needs to change right now. And it finally has. We've won the freaking Premier League on goal difference, just beating Leicester City of all teams to it. And I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but it's taken us 9 years to get our first trophy with the Rams. But you know what? It is literally better late than never. We still, however, can't win the FA Cup. And we can't win the Carabao Cup either. That's just bloody great. But as you can see from the Europa League group stage, we've topped it with flying colours. And we've gone on to freaking win it. We've won 2 trophies in 1 year. It's about freaking time we started winning some, isn't it? It looks like making Aaron Cash in 99 overall really did pay off in the end, didn't it? Especially when he was our 3rd top goal contributor. That's actually insane for a centre-back. Fair play. But going into the final year of this takeover, we have 1 challenge completed, making an average starting team of 89. Unfortunately, though, we can't win 10 trophies now. But we do have 1 more year to win that Premier League title, and if we do that, we have at least completed 2 objectives. And with the starting 11 looking like this, guys, I do feel confident we can do it, especially if that takeover wheel is on our side for the final year, man. Imagine if it is. Well, we're going to find out as for the final time in this video, we've actually landed on a good one. Free pass, do what you want. I don't mind if I freaking do. And we've got 425 mil to do whatever we want with. If we don't win the UCL with this money in our budget, we do not deserve to win it in the slightest. Now, looking at the team, there's some players on international duty, but there are 3 positions that I'm going to improve. Firstly, we're replacing Shea Charles. He's a world-class player, don't get me wrong, but there's a couple of players out there that are younger and better. I'm also replacing Majid because whilst he is 88 overall, there's somebody out there 2 overalls better than him. And finally, Patrick Martens, because whilst he is 85 overall, he's the weakest link in the team, and I don't want any weak links at all in the starting 11. And that's why I've just spent 80 mil on the dot on Alejandro Balde. He's still only 28 after 10 years in career mode and 89 overall, one of the best left backs in the world, and he now plays for us. I'm also signing Alessandro Bastoni from Inter. I mean, he's 6'3", 90 overall. He might be 33, but his contract's running out, meaning we're going to get a massive bargain with this guy. And finally, I'm signing Eduardo Camavinga from Dortmund. He's almost 30, but he's 90 overall. And to be honest, guys, with him in our team, he might just help us win the Champions League. And just like that, our final transfer window is done, as we've just spent a whopping 179.6 million on both of these players. And looking at this team now, guys, we are ready for season 10. I think we're ready for absolutely everything this year's got to throw at us, including the UCL. Especially after we've signed Alejandro Balde, Eduardo Camavinga, and especially Alessandro Bastoni. We've literally got no weakness in our starting team now. It's officially all or nothing at this point. I've done everything I possibly can to prepare these guys for season 10. It's now up to these guys to do the rest on the pitch. And guys, I'm happy to say that's exactly what they did. We are back-to-back Premier League champions, this time in very convincing fashion. But you know what this means, don't you? We have completed the Premier League challenge. We may not have done the UCL or the 10 trophies overall, but we got the Prem one and also the average starting team rating of 89 one. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. What else have we accomplished this season? Well, we didn't win the Community Shield because Man City beat us 9-8 on pens to win this. And we still can't win the freaking FA Cup after 10 times of trying. And I officially give up with the Carabao Cup, man. How do we make 3 Carabao Cup finals in 10 years and lose every single one of them? But we did win the Super Cup, so that is at least something. As for the group stage, as you can clearly see, we absolutely wiped the floor with it. Just like we wiped the floor with Marseille in the round of 16. And we've smashed Inter in the quarters. And we've beaten Dortmund in the semis. Guys, we're playing Bayern in the final. We could win our first UCL with the Rams here. 10 years of trying, guys. It all comes down to this at Old Trafford. Can Derby County finally win the Champions League? Yes, we can! Alvaro and Poku with the goals. We finally freaking made Derby County the best team in the world. That took way too freaking long for that to happen, man. I can't believe it took the entire takeover to do it, but better freaking late than never. But looking at these stats, if we didn't do it this year, then this game would have been just against us, wouldn't it? These stats deserve the UCR. And this was the team that did it in the end. We may not have completed all 4 challenges like Coventry, but we did a damn fine job with the Rams. And we indeed end our takeover with Alvaro being our top goal scorer, Adai being our top assister, and we won 5 trophies overall with Derby County. And that's where we're going to leave this takeover. If you have enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave this video a big old thumbs up and smash that subscribe button if you are new around here. And if you want more content from me, you should click this video right here, because this is when I did it with Coventry City.